I don't want to warm my butt. It's too hot as it is.
What to say? Good Lord, you had me put that. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's like a ride.
That was, and that wasn't even floored.
Oh.
That's awesome. What's up, guys? Tony here with iTech Check, and today we're going to be taking a look at our full experience from first purchase all the way to delivery of our Tesla Model 3. So please bear with me for this first part. It's only 3 minutes long, and then we'll get into the actual portion where we take delivery of the car, and then I give you my thoughts and some tips and things that you might have thought of when you're going to purchase your Tesla.
First off, I want to let you know that it's really simple to order off the app. It takes like 2 minutes to do. We just ordered our Model 3 yesterday. Here's a little pic that I sent to one of my friends showing him that I just bought a Tesla because he has one himself. Like I said, took 2 minutes, real easy to do, didn't take any time at all. Once you're done with the app, you can go ahead and log into your account online. You're going to want to set up your registration, proof of insurance, if you have a trade-in, your payment method, and you go onto the website and go through the registration, insurance, and trade-ins and payment method. That takes a little bit more time. That'll probably take you about 45 minutes to an hour to fill out, just because you got to fill out the application for your loan and put in all your registration and stuff. So that'll take you a little bit more time, but just first off, purchasing from the app, it only takes about 2 minutes. You're going to have to give them a $2,500 deposit right off the bat. And then if you're going to finance, they're probably going to want at least 10% down. The build that we got was long range all-wheel drive. It's midnight silver. It's got the 18-inch aero wheels, all black premium interior, autopilot with self-driving capabilities. So the estimated delivery date was in 2 weeks. So after we logged on and the estimation was still about within 2 weeks, we figured that we'd be picking up our Tesla probably the end of the month. One of my friends ordered the $35,000 model, and he's going to be getting it at the end of the month. So I assumed that we were going to be doing the same thing. So today we log into our account and kind of check to see if there are any updates, and we already have a delivery date for March 12th. Now I know that the screen says March 16th. The original date that was on there was March 12th. I called Tesla and had them push it back to Saturday because there was no way we could drive to Denver and pick up the car during the week because we work. I'm assuming that the car was already spec'd out and it was sitting, on their lot or something waiting for somebody to pick it up. And that's why it only took, a couple days for us to get a delivery appointment. And as you can see, we don't even have our trade-in valuation yet. It's still in progress, and we already have a VIN and a delivery appointment. And we don't have our home charger yet. So I kind of wanted to have that in play, and I just ordered that the other day. So Tesla does deliveries on Saturday, so we were going to go ahead and pick it up on Saturday, and hopefully I'll have my charger by then.
So here we are. We finally arrived at the Tesla delivery center. It's not very big. It's in Littleton, Colorado. There are Teslas everywhere here, though. And as soon as you walk into the store, there is a lady sitting at a desk, front and center. She greets you. As soon as she takes your information, she tells you to go ahead and take a seat and then just wait.
It's a nice place.
And you wait a little more. And then wait some more.
Get up, babe. It's embarrassing me. Come on.
In all actuality, 2 minutes after we sat down, a gentleman walked over and had us come over to a desk so we could fill out the rest of our paperwork. And pretty much that took about 15-20 minutes. Once you were done completing the paperwork, he took us out to the car, asked us if we have any questions, kind of showed my wife some of the features and how to operate the car, while I walked around and kind of checked it for any scratches or scuffs. Anything that I saw that might be wrong. There was a little black mark on the hood, but it really wasn't enough to deter us from not taking ownership of the car right now. So he was very friendly. Like I said, he answered any questions we might have had about the car, and then he pretty much sent us off on our way. I don't want to warm my butt. It's too hot as it is.
What to say? Good Lord, you hadn't been for that. Oh my God.
Wow.
It's like a ride.
That was, and I didn't. That wasn't even floored.
Oh.
That's awesome. Did you look in the trunk?
Nope.
Shit. I hope the charger's in there.
I hope so too.
Because if it's not, we're going to be in trouble.
500 feet.
So now that we're on the highway, we're going to kind of share our experience with picking up our brand new Model 3 Tesla. As you heard before, was the first part of us purchasing the Model 3 on the app, and how long it took afterwards, filling out some of the applications. We had a trade-in, so we had to fill out all that information. Now this is just our experience from picking up our Tesla, and some things that you might not have thought about while you were, signing up, or things that you would know after the fact that Tesla didn't tell us right away. So right now, I cannot use autopilot. As you can see here, there's like a quarter blue circle, and what the car is doing is it's calibrating its cameras, and it's only about a quarter way done. So I cannot use autopilot. I can't use nav on autopilot. So I basically have to wait until that's done calibrating, which stinks because we're in Denver right now. We have to go back to Colorado Springs, and it would be nice to have the car kind of drive itself. Or, it's a brand new car. You want to kind of see the things in action. And we're unable to use that right now. So that's a little disappointing. One thing I would like to tell you guys is after you purchase your Tesla online and you start the process, keep on Tesla, because nobody called us to kind of walk us through what we need to do, what was happening next. We basically ordered the car on a Saturday. Sunday, we received a delivery appointment. Like I said, nobody called us and told us anything about it. So, we reached out to Tesla, and they're like, "Oh, you don't have, you need to be assigned somebody, and somebody will give you a call, and just kind of wait." So, we did, and we wanted to pick up the car on a weekend because we worked during the week, and we didn't want to take a day off to come pick up our car. So when we reached out to them, we also asked them if we could pick it up, push the delivery back to Saturday, which they did, which is today. And it's great too. I mean, when we initially ordered the car, it said within 2 weeks you would get your car, and come to find out, it was literally like 4 days, really. But we couldn't go pick up the car then, so we pushed it back to Saturday. So the week goes on. Middle of the week, say Wednesday, this is the day after the original delivery date. Still didn't hear anything back from anybody. So I waited till Thursday, called somebody again, and was like, "Hey, we haven't heard anything. Nobody's reached out to us." And the girl's like, because we had a trade-in, they needed to contact the bank to try to get our trade-in all squared away so they could pay off the car and everything like that. She's like, "Oh, I can do that for you now." Well, what would have happened if I wouldn't have called? We would have been stuck coming all the way to Denver, which is like an hour away, and the car wouldn't have been ready. So make sure you stay on Tesla, because they're not going to look out. I'm sure they've got other things to do or whatever, but
In 1 mile, take the interstate.
they're not, on the ball as far as calling you and making sure your things are squared away. So you need to make sure you do that. Second thing, there are some fees and things that you might not be aware of. I know that I didn't really think about it when we first, ordered the car, but there's fees and there's taxes. There's one fee that's major. It's like, what is it? Destination fee. It's like, was it like $1,100 or something?
Yes, $11.25.
Yeah, so $11.25. So you have to put down a deposit of $2,500. Then you also have the destination fee and the taxes, which kind of come up to like 15 something. And half that is like your state fees. So there's that. Then if you live in Colorado Springs, there's a city and there's a county tax that you also have to pay later on too. So just keep that in mind. Also, as far as the delivery, I know there are some people that have the car actually delivered to them. We unfortunately did not have that option because I guess we live too far away. We live in Colorado Springs, and it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to get to the service center where we picked up the Tesla Model 3. So there's that. You might have also seen some videos of people going in to pick up their Model 3, and it's all nice and neat, and it's inside their little building in the garage. When we picked ours up, it was just sitting outside. They're like, here's your Model 3, we'll go over it with you. It's just kind of like no neat presentation. It might be because the service center in Littleton is smaller. Maybe there's some bigger Tesla, service centers out there or whatever, and they just can't do that. So I don't know what the deal was, but with me or with us, that was not the case. It was just kind of sitting outside and, waiting for us. Wasn't, being charged or whatever. But I mean, we had like... I'm sorry, I'm trying to get over here. Oh, God. Can I get over, lady? Please. Hey, pay attention. Hey, it's not a lady, it's a guy. So, that wasn't the case. It may be for you, but I also, I've seen people with Teslas and, they kind of go over the car to make sure that there's no scratches, any damage, anything like that. And I did that. I went over the car. There was a little area that had just a little black mark on it on the front. It's not like a huge deal, but that was the only little thing that I could find on the car. I have not ridden in a car with air suspension. This car has springs, and it's very smooth. I really don't have any complaints. It drives pretty well. It takes off like crazy. Like if you've never been in a car that has a ton of horsepower, this is gonna blow your socks off. It's crazy, really cool. The regeneration takes a little bit to get used to, but it's not that bad. As you can see, we have almost a half calibration here. It's gonna take us about an hour to get home, so maybe the calibration will be done halfway home. We'll see. I did ask for a Tesla jacket. The gentleman said that they did have some, they used to sell apparel and stuff there, and they don't anymore because I guess all the employees were stealing it, but I mean, can you blame them? The jackets are pretty cool. We did not get any swag, which I kind of wanted. Just anything, some sort of Tesla, something. I really would like one of those little cars, but little car remote controls, but those were like $150, and I knew there was no way for me to get that.
All the money you spend on the car, you think they'd give you something.
I know, right? You would think. Give me something. 75. Wow. That's crazy. So we were going about 60, and I didn't even punch it. I just pressed on the gas a little bit, and the thing took off. My God, that's so cool. It's really nice to have that sort of power, not because you want to drive crazy, but if you're ever in a situation, there have been many situations that I've been in, and I needed to either turn or somebody was going to hit me, and I needed that extra power. That's the reason why the power is nice to have for getting out of sticky situations that could cause accidents, especially when you're next to tractor trailers. Sometimes they don't see you and they start to merge over, and you're almost ahead of them, and you need that extra power to kind of get out of the way. I think that's one of the main reasons why I would like to have that power, not for racing or anything, although you could, but it's nice to have to get you out of those kind of situations. This sunroof is really cool. It's tinted, so you don't have to worry about getting burned. And here in Colorado Springs, the sun is very, very strong. Really would like to have that nav.
That would be nice.
So as you can see, it's not even showing cars around us. I mean, one of my friends has a Model 3 too, and he's actually ordered 2 of them. And both times that he's ordered the Tesla, somebody's reached out to him the next day. And it kind of, annoys me.
Well, it tells you after you order, someone's going to contact you in 24 hours. And then with the trade-in, they said someone will contact you in 24 hours. With the financing, someone will contact you. And nobody contacted us for all 3, purposes.
Yeah, a little annoying, but yeah, the car only had 5 miles, so you know that it went right from Tesla, the Gigafactory, all the way to here. Oh, and that's another thing. So I think one of the main reasons why our car only took a couple days to get the delivery date is because it was already made and there nearby. So you may not have to wait 2 weeks. Like I said, we got the all-wheel drive, long range, and in gray, and that's the only reason we got the turnaround that we did, is because the car was already made and it was sitting in the lot. So you may get your car in a couple days. It might take a couple weeks. Now I know my friend ordered the new $35,000 model, the standard, with the cheaper interior, and his estimated delivery date. He actually ordered his Model 3 probably a week before I did, and his date is at the end of this month. So your delivery date may vary, of course, depending on what kind of model, features, and everything that you got. We also got the full self-driving package with enhanced autopilot too. So everything that we wanted was in the car that was already there. So that's why we had the turnaround that we did, which worked out for us, but it may work out for you. It just depends on what you order. And the sound system's amazing. My wife was jamming out before we left, and it sounded really good. Like, it is very immersive. It uses all the speakers, and it brings you in. The sound quality is amazing. So you can set up multiple profiles for different people. Me and my wife, we have different seating arrangements, and we like our mirrors different. So for each person, you can set a profile, and it just automatically sets up everything the way that you have it, which is really nice. So we're coming from a Honda Civic Touring 2017 car, and that car had automatic lane assist. As you can see, we just saw a car pop up on here. It's almost finished completing calibrating. But the Civic had lane assist and auto cruise control. So it kind of kept you in the lane. It was kind of like a drunk teenager at some points. It would get really close to the line.
And then move you back over.
Yeah, and then it would kind of move you back over, and sometimes it would go over the line, and it was just kind of hit and miss. If it was going straight, it'd be really good. The auto cruise control worked way better. It stopped. If the car in front of me slowed down, the car would slow down, and it would even come to a complete stop. But a couple of main things that was different between the Tesla and the Civic was you had to go over a certain mile per hour to actually engage those features, and that was 45 miles an hour, and that would get kind of annoying because once it dropped, everything would turn off and you had to kind of take control. I'm sorry, other than the auto cruise, that would stay on, but the lane keep assist, it would turn off. Another thing is, once it came to a complete stop, if the car in front of you started moving again, the car would not move by itself. You had to either press on the gas a little bit, or you had to hit the the cruise control setting to restore, and it would move again. Whereas the Tesla, it does it automatically, which is really great. So as you can see, we're almost done here. Cars are showing up
All around
on
us.
our screen, all around us. We do have a speed limit, so we might be able to engage. Maybe now. Let's try it.
Nope. It's going to make you wait that few more moments.
Okay, so it did let me engage the auto cruise control. You just press once down and it sets your speed. All right. Now what?
Camera calibration complete.
It's very unnerving to let the car drive for you. So I just have my hand on the wheel here, slowing down, coming to some traffic. I don't have my foot on the brake.
Nice.
And see, as you can see, like I said with the Civic, once you go under a certain speed, the car is unable to drive or keep you in the lane by itself, whereas Tesla, we're stopped and it's still auto steering. So we're completely stopped. The car in front of us is going to go, and the car automatically moves by itself. Now, some people were saying that the car kind of doesn't move quick enough. I think that was perfect. I don't think that it needed any more aggression as far as, as when the car moves ahead of you, the car, your car needs to automatically go. I think it was a good speed. So,
Oh, I liked it.
yeah, I thought it was great.
Compared to there was times in the Honda when it was coming to a stop, it would come so close, you wanted to stop and then it would come to a jerk, sudden stop, where Tesla's nice and gradual to stop and then to restart.
Right. And then sometimes the car, okay, another thing I wanted to tell you about our Civic. If it didn't detect the car ahead of you while it was braking, the car would not be able to come up to a completely stopped car and slow down in enough time to not get into an accident. You had to make sure that you had your foot on the brake and slowed down gradually, because it only worked when it detected a car with you moving. If there was a car stopped way ahead of you and you were going like 50, it would not be able to detect the car quick enough for it to come to a complete stop safely by itself, which Tesla, I'm assuming, can do. I haven't been able to test it, but the range seems pretty good right now. We'll test that later.
Well, look at it. It's detecting that semi all the way up there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So the range seems to be good on the cameras.
And every once in a while it tells you to apply slight pressure to the steering wheel just so it knows that you're still, there paying attention and not asleep like some people we've seen lately in YouTube videos. So like I was saying before, it's only 5 miles over what the posted speed limit is. So it's 75 and we have it set to 80 right now. But what happens if I push up a little bit? So it still seems to let you set a higher speed.
But I wonder if it'll actually do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll actually do it. Well, if we get some road here, I'll test it again. But it looks like you can still raise the max speed even though we're in auto steer right now.
What are you trying to do?
They didn't put any fluid in there. Okay, so
We read about this too.
damn it. If you're going to buy a Tesla, make sure you check to see if they put in windshield wiper fluid, because my window is dirty as hell right now and I can't wash the window because they didn't put any fluid in the damn car. So that's another thing to check out.
It's been reported by multiple people.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked in the reservoir, but it's black, so I couldn't, the hole's real small. I couldn't tell if there was anything in there, but I didn't get in the car and actually turn it on to see if there was fluid in there, and that's my bad. But shame on Tesla for not giving you any wiper fluid.
Learn to trust the car.
Yeah. On certain parts.
Yes, of course.
And not during construction zones. You don't want to make sure, obviously I'm not touching the steering wheel just because I want to see what it does, but you're really supposed to be, having your hand on the wheel just in case you need to take over at any point in time, and especially during construction zones.
Or bad weather.
Yeah, bad weather. I've seen a video, you guys might have seen it, where there was a guy in his Model S, and he was in a construction zone, and there were these concrete pylons that kind of went over the line because he was supposed to merge off to the right, and his car couldn't see it in time, and it just slammed right into the barrier and just totally ruined it. So yeah, I would just kind of be worried about that. But yeah, for the car to stop and go all by itself, I think it's perfect. It works really well. Then if you want, you can just, have your hand here is what's kind of recommended to us, or maybe, up here. It's probably more comfortable. You can just kind of hang on to the bottom here. So it gives your steering wheel a little resistance so it, knows that you're there. Or if you didn't want to have your hand on the controls, every once in a while it's going to say, hey, I need your input. You just kind of nudge the steering wheel a little bit, and it'll get rid of that and continue to steer on its own. I saw double semis right there. There's only one.
Showing that the semi is about to hit us in the back, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not moving.
3 semis in a row. Oh, there, a car just showed up. Get in your own lane, buddy. Keeps coming in our lane. So another thing to know, when I called Tesla prior to us getting the car, I just was curious about, initially we wanted to kind of put autopilot and full self-driving not on the bill for the car because our registration is based on the car's total price. I was inquiring, can we get autopilot and full self-driving kind of not way after we purchased the car, but just on a separate bill? And the lady said you couldn't do that, but you get a trial period for full self-driving or the autopilot rather. And during this trial you can purchase your full self-driving and autopilot, and it'll only be $500 more. So if you're on the fence, just know that you should still get another chance to purchase it, not at the full price, but at $500 more. So the autopilot or the enhanced autopilot was $3,000, and I think it was going to be $4 or $5 if we didn't get it. If we got it later, but during the trial period, it would only be an extra $500, so $3,500. And then the full self-driving was $500, and I assume that she meant during the trial you could get it for $5,500 and not the $7,000 that you would have to spend later on. So, and another thing, Elon tweeted that the people that bought the full self-driving at $5,000 should be included in the new chip that they're making. So once that comes out, if you bought the full self-driving, you should be able to get that for free in your Model S, Model 3, or whatever if you bought the full self-driving. So stop coming in our lane.
Cars next to us are having seizures.
I know. And our Civic did the same thing too. If every 20 seconds or so would say, hey, I need you to take the wheel or whatever, and you just kind of like nudge the steering wheel, and it would stop doing it for another 15 seconds or so. But it seems like the Model 3's steering it doesn't need it as much. It still does it every so often, but it doesn't nag you as much.
Oh, the Easter eggs. Oh, gosh.
Jamie.
Who thought of this?
See if it'll go over 80. Yes, it does. So when it's an auto steer, it did look like it let you go over the speed limit more than 5 miles an hour. So that's interesting. Okay, guys, so we made it. Our trip, took about an hour and a half or so with the traffic. We made it home safe. The autopilot was awesome, worked really well. There were some shady times in the construction zone, but for the most part, it handled really well. Did way better than I thought it was going to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If there's any questions you guys might have, please feel free to ask. Anything you guys might want to see. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bar to let you know when I put out new videos. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.